Hey guys, this is Pooka and welcome to another edition of Tournament Testing, where we have some tournaments here on Pokemon TCG Online. Seems like a fun segment where we get to play a lot of games at once. So I'm just going to continue with this. I was able to get into multiple tournaments this week. I already posted the first one with the Eviltal Garbodor deck, and for this one, I'm just going to use a very standard Team Plasma deck, focused around Lugia EX, and we're going to see how that works. So it looks like we're starting off the first game right away, opening up with a double Deoxys EX start, and not really sure what we're going up against, but we do see a Suicune and a Squirtle, so probably some kind of Blastoise deck. That Suicune is very annoying for this Team Plasma deck because, well, it just... Safeguard really hurts. It makes it difficult, slows down this deck quite a bit, so that's going to be kind of annoying. I do have Absol to deal with it, but it's still annoying to have to go out of my way. I can't just charge ahead with Lugia for a bunch of prizes right away. Oh well. Alrighty, so we're going to start off with a couple Team Plasma balls, getting a Lugia, and then also I can get a Deoxys, or I can get an Absol. I guess Absol would allow me to go through Safeguard. So there's that. I might just need it eventually anyway, so I might have to just put it down on the bench. Seems like a good plan. So we'll just get Absol, I guess. It's kind of an awkward position to be in. And alright. We'll get that down, and then put the DCE onto Lugia. My opponent didn't play a supporter or really anything on the first turn, so I'm just going to Skyla here for a Colress Machine. Get that, and then attach that Plasma Energy to Lugia, probably. I just want to get ready for a Plasma Gale. Of course, the entire goal of this deck is to use Lugia EX to Plasma Gale for lots of prizes because it has that overflow ability, which allows you to take an extra prize when you take a knockout. And okay, there's a rare Candy Blastoise Juniper. Never mind, my opponent was just sitting on his hand, apparently. Had everything he needed. So we do see the turn 2 Blastoise, but thankfully no real attack to follow it up. Alright, so here I'm just going to go for a Juniper. And we do have the Frozen City we can put into play. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to go for a Colress Machine once again. Get that energy onto Lugia EX. And we'll put a Prism onto the Absol. Just saying, hey, I need to get this powered up. Might as well get multiple attackers powered up. Deoxys, I can't really retreat him yet, but I'm not going to commit 2 energy to a Deoxys just to retreat. It's not good for me. So I'm just going to wait to get a switch or something like that, and we'll go from there. But here, let's see. I do have the Frozen City in play, which is very big. It allows me to get some damage on his Pokemon. If he doesn't play any stadium cards, like some Blastoise players can't really afford Tropical Beach, we can go ahead and just get Frozen City out there, and it sets up very nicely for Lugia EX to Plasma Gale, something like a Black Kyurem EX for a knockout. Alright, so here I have a computer search and all sorts of stuff, but I really like to Plasma Gale that Blastoise this turn, so I'm just going to Colress for 9. Hope to draw a switch and a Plasma Energy, and that's pretty much exactly what I got. I got an Escape Rope along with the Plasma Energy, so we can go ahead here and Red Signal, bring out the Blastoise, and if you cut off the Blastoise, this deck does not do much. It needs Deluge in order to power up its attackers constantly, so we're just going to go right for the Blastoise, take 2 prizes with Plasma Gale right there, and my opponent has no other Squirtle in play, so we won't see any Blastoise anytime soon. So that was a very strong turn for me, and let's see what happens next, as he does promote a Black Kyurem EX. Not really sure why. It only has 2 energy on it, and maybe Suicune would have been a better option, but hey, what do I know? We do see an N after the Plasma Gale knockout, and another Squirtle does come into play, so I will have to worry about that again pretty soon. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good about my position. My opponent still hasn't gotten rid of that Frozen City. And we got a freshly powered Lugia EX with no damage on it. 3 energy on it still. Got an Absol waiting in the wings. Heck, even Genesect has an energy. Not that I really want to attack with it very much, but hey, so far so good. I can't really complain that much. Alright, so here I do have a Skyla, so I'm going to go ahead and play that right here. And I can grab Professor's Letter to grab a Lightning Energy, and then we can switch into Thunderous EX and use Raiden Knuckle. I basically just want to protect my Lugia from a Black Ballista from Black Kyurem EX. And we can also soften up the active Keldeo EX while powering up Lugia EX once again. So we'll go for the Raiden Knuckle here. Do a nice 50 damage, which isn't a ton, but it does set up for that Plasma Gale knockout eventually. And we're just going to pass, or not pass the turn, we're going to let our opponent go again. And uh-oh, another Rare Candy and Blastoise. Yikes. So we're going to see another Blastoise come into play. That's pretty annoying, honestly, since I already knocked one out. So now we're going to have to deal with another one. And Blastoise can make big comebacks with just constant attacks with Black Kyurem EX using Black Ballista for 200. It's one of the decks that can just come back from almost anything. Being able to do 200 rolling over Pokemon EX every turn with that 200 damage attack. It can definitely come back in no time. So I'm definitely not feeling completely safe yet, but pretty comfortable with my position. Considering I'm up 2 prizes, Lugia is powered up on the bench. Absol has a Prism energy on it as well. So, I mean, I'm feeling very comfortable about my position. Now my opponent does rush in with another Keldeo and puts a water energy onto it. And then passes the turn. Now I could retreat here and then Plasma Gale for 3 prizes. That is an option, but I'm not sure if that's actually the right way to go. I mean, I would go down to 1 prize, and then I would only just have to knock out one more thing, but I could walk into an N to 1, and I mean, Black Kyurem EX could just come out and knock me out. So I think I'm just going to be more conservative here. We'll just Raiden Knuckle once again. Put another energy onto Absol. Now that's fully powered up. And kind of force my opponent to make a move here before I really jump out there. Ideally, I would like to just Red Signal out Blastoise again and knock it out again and take away all my opponent's energy acceleration. That seems like the smart thing to do. So we'll see if we can pull that up. I was saving the Shadow Triad. I could have played it that turn for a Colress, but I actually wanted to save it. Because if Thunderous EX gets knocked out, I can promote Genesect, retreat the Plasma Energy off, and then Shadow Triad for the Plasma Energy to Red Signal Blastoise once again and get 2 more prizes that way. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. We do see Keldeo EX get into their energy, so it can retreat. We'll most likely see the Black Ballista this turn. And then Thunderous EX goes down, but then my opponent has to discard 3 energy. And again, I can just Red Signal Blastoise, take it out of play, and then my opponent really doesn't have much to work with. And I should be able to overcome whatever else he has. So we do see a Tool Scrapper discarding the Muscle Band on Lugia EX, and there it is, the Black Ballista for 200 damage. And again, I'm just going to go through exactly what I described before. We have Genesect retreating into the Lugia EX. We're going to discard that Plasma Energy so that we can recover it with Shadow Triad, and then use it for a Red Signal, bringing out Blastoise again, cutting off our opponent's energy acceleration once again. And this seems like we're pretty much in the lead. Game probably locked up from here, but you never know what can happen. I don't really have much in my hand, just an N. I don't have any more energy cards, so I don't know, this could be close still. My opponent would need probably a 3rd Blastoise, which is pretty unlikely, but hey, crazier things have happened. my opponent has burned through pretty much all of his resources, I think, at this point. And if I do get one more Plasma Energy, I can, let's see, well, let's take a look at the discard pile first. There's 3 Squirtle in there, 3 Rare Candy, it looks like, and 2 Blastoise. So yeah, I don't see a Blastoise coming out this game. And I'll go ahead and bench another Deoxys EX. And I think we're just going to retreat and wipe out this Suicune with Absol's Mind Jack. Might as well just do that. We'll play a Muscle Band on the Absol. I might burn my Tool Scrapper to discard the Float Stone on Deoxys, but I'll just go ahead and Mind Jack. I was thinking about burning the Tool Scrapper so I don't draw it if my opponent plays an N, but that's okay. We'll just Mind Jack, and again, my opponent really doesn't have Blastoise in play, so there's nothing to worry about. Just 1 energy on that Black Kyurem EX. We have 1 prize to take to my opponent's 4, so it's just a matter of time before we can finish off this game. We see an Escape Rope, and I'm pretty glad I didn't Tool Scrapper away my Float Stone, since now I can just promote Deoxys. I probably just could have promoted Genesect instead, and just retreated that energy off. That might have been better, but oh well. And Keldeo EX comes into the active spot. We see another one get benched. And now, let's see, Absol can do 150 damage with Mind Jack, but that's actually not enough to knock out a fresh Keldeo EX. So it's kind of annoying. I'm going to go ahead and play that DC, and then Juniper for 7. I could have waited to see if I would have drawn a Plasma Energy, but it just seems unlikely. And I'm really in no hurry to do anything since my opponent can't really do anything. And so I'm just going to play down as many cards as I can and Mind Jack for 150 damage. And now my opponent's running out of space to buy time, so I really don't think he can do much else. I mean, if he benches another Pokemon, Absol's doing 170 damage, and he can't even really retreat the active. So I think this is probably locked up, and my opponent says, well, GG. And there we go. So we take down a Blastoise deck. He did get a turn 2 Blastoise. No attacker, but it was a fairly intimidating start. But we were able to just kind of overcome it with the use of Lugia and Genesect. And Frozen City helped out quite a bit as well. So there we go. Got the first win in our tournament. Again, it is an 8-man tournament. 3 rounds, single elimination. And one of the annoying parts of the tournament is you do have to wait for other people to complete their matches. I mean, this sounds... I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's a tournament, and so you have to wait for everybody to finish their games before you can move on to the next round, but man, I just feel like I'm online. I just want to keep playing and playing and playing. But it is a tournament, so you do have to wait for the other people to keep playing. The tournaments are an awesome feature. I hope that they become more frequent. Right now they're just in alpha testing, so they happen once a week usually, only for about 2 hours. And they really don't advertise them very well either. They only post them on the Pokemon TCG Online forums. They don't get much publicity. So it's tough to figure out when they're actually happening. But if you can get into one of these, I would encourage you to do that. It's pretty big for the future of Pokemon TCG Online. I feel like this is an awesome feature that a lot of people will enjoy playing. And so we do see the next round will begin soon. And it looks like my next opponent will be Kirikorusu. Okay. Now you can see the bracket here, who I'm going up against, and who I might face in the finals. And there's 4 packs of XY on the line, along with a shiny gold star. So this is a very important tournament. Here we go, round number 2. And let's see, my opponent is going first. Well, he can choose who goes first, and looks like my opponent will go first. So we have a mulligan, a second mulligan, a third mulligan, a fourth mulligan. Alright, finally. But oh, we open with Deoxys again. That's not the Pokemon I want to start with. Oh well. Alright, we'll start off with Deoxys EX and then bench the other one as well. And we'll find out what my opponent is playing whatever it is, he gets, what, 4 extra cards from the mulligans, since I didn't have a basic Pokemon 4 times. Okay, so now we see Cobalion EX. Ugh, this is not a card I like to go up against with a Team Plasma deck. Righteous Edge does 30 and then discards a special energy attached to the defending Pokemon. And this deck is mostly special energy, so it's very annoying. Every time they attack, they basically discard one of your energy. And you can actually start to run out of energy. Cobalion EX is a 180 HP big basic, and it's very difficult to knock out. So Righteous Edge, pretty annoying to deal with. We'll see if we can manage to do so. My opening hand does have a couple ends, so I'll probably play one of those. We do see a Hypnotoxic Laser that's going to poison the Deoxys EX, kind of a bummer. And he's just going to pass since you cannot attack on the first turn. Alright, I actually top deck a Computer Search here, which is actually kind of nice. I can discard 2 cards. I'm going to discard 2 energy, and I'm just going to grab a Thunderous EX, since we can start using Raiden Knuckle on the first turn. I do have the Lightning Energy in hand, which cannot be discarded by Righteous Edge. And then we can start powering up other Pokemon as well. So I'm going to hope to draw a switch here. And nope, none of those are switch. And that means I'm going to have to pass the turn with my poor Deoxys EX in the active spot. And that will end my first turn. Alrighty, so we see a Skarmory. Huh. We don't see that ever. A Team Plasma Skarmory? I was worried this would be like a Kling Clang deck, but now I'm thinking this just might be a random deck with Cobalion EX. We'll find out, I suppose. Alright, so I have a Team Plasma Ball that was a very good top deck, actually. Now this allows me to grab the Lugia EX and then Skyla for a switch. I can do Switch or Escape Rope. I think I'm just going to do Switch to try to hit this Cobalion EX and then set it up to be knocked out by Plasma Gale on the following turn. So we're going to go for the Raiden Knuckle for 70, getting back the Plasma Energy onto the Lugia EX. And the next turn we should be able to pull off a Plasma Gale, either with a Colress Machine and an Energy or a double Colress Energy. Both of those will work equally well to get a 3-prize Plasma Gale on the next turn. Now we do see another Laser and then a 3rd Energy go on to Cobalion EX. So we can see a Steel Bullet here, drops the Anvil on Thunderous's head, and it'll be back to my turn. I do have a Shadow Triad, but that won't really get me anything. If there were a Colress Machine there, I would just take it, but I think I'm just going to go for the Juniper, and whoa, that was a bad Juniper. Ouch. Oh. Well, that didn't turn out very well. And okay, well, it looked like a sure turn 2 or turn 3 Plasma Gale. Now turns into a turn 3 Raiden Knuckle, and we were just gonna power up Lugia EX. That was a very big missed opportunity to take 3 prizes and kind of take control of the game. And instead we're going to be down a couple prizes. We do see a Plasma Frigate. I'm not really sure what that's all about. We don't see that card very much either. One of the things about these tournaments is there's no guarantee on what kind of opponent you'll face. You could just face a theme deck. You could just face a random mishmash of attackers like this deck. These are not all established archetypes, even though they are tournaments. It's just anybody can enter these, so I don't know. This may be it may be like an unconventional rogue deck, or it could just be some guy who wanted to throw together whatever cards he had. Either way, I am losing, so it's not to be taken lightly. I'm going to be down 2 prizes here, so alright. I am going to need to draw an energy this turn. I can either Colress for 5, Juniper for 7, or Skyla for a Colress Machine. I'm just going to take a risk and Colress for 5, and we do get the DCE for Lugia, which is pretty nice. I can go ahead and Plasma Gale, 160 damage, taking those 3 prizes. And alright, so we're pretty solid here. Got 3 prizes left. Just have to knock out one more Cobalion EX, and we can pull off a win. Got the 3 prizes as well. That's going to help out quite a bit. Now, next turn, I could do 180 damage with Plasma Gale if I top deck away to get a Deoxys EX. I could get 4 Deoxys EX in play, and then Plasma Gale plus Muscle Band plus 4 Deoxys does 180 damage. So that's pretty good. We'll see if I do, though. I would have to top deck it. If not, I'm probably going to have to Skyla for a supporter. And then probably either Escape Rope or Retreat into the Thunderous EX. And then Raiden Knuckle. But there's the Righteous Edge for 30. Pretty annoying that it's going to discard one of my special energy. Probably going to be that DCE. And that's... Alright, there we go. And let's see what... Oh, hey, Deoxys. Alright, that works. Let's just make sure the 4th Deoxys is in the deck. And indeed it is. So I can just grab a Team Plasma Ball. And grab that 4th Deoxys. I also wanted to make sure there's a Plasma Energy in there as well. And both of those are correct. So, we can put down both Deoxys EX, Colress Machine for the Plasma Energy. Put that right onto Lugia EX. And then attach. And go for the game-winning Plasma Gale for 180 damage. And ouch, I actually had 2 Plasma Energy prize that game. But hey, it didn't matter. Lugia is pretty good. Collects prizes very quickly. And we take down the Cobalion EX deck in round number 2, which means we have 1 round to go for this tournament. Again, it's just 3 rounds, single elimination. Nothing that serious, but it's still pretty fun, and it's a good way to get some good testing in and play a lot of games at once. So here we go. One final game. Will we get the victory and the gold star, or will we fall in the finals to DNIV 2016? Opponent will decide who goes first, and of course he will go first. We see a couple catchers, professor's letter. Not really sure what to expect out of that. But my hand looks pretty bad. We're starting off with a double Deoxys. Is that like the 3rd game in a row this happened? Opening up with 2 Deoxys EX. I think it actually might be. But oh well. Alright, we see a Team Plasma Ball and a Plasma Curum. So this might be one of those Plasma decks that focuses around Curum instead of Lugia EX, as we do see the Water Energy goes on to the active. And a Silver Bangle as well. That's a pretty good indicator. This is indeed going to be focused more around Curum than anything like Lugia. So this will be interesting. I'm not really sure what happens in this kind of a matchup. Of course, Lugia EX is good to take multiple prizes, but Thunderous EX is a pretty good counter to Lugia. So, I don't know. It's going to be weird. I'm going to go ahead and Team Plasma Ball for the Lugia EX. And then we will put down another Deoxys. We'll Colress Machine for a Plasma Energy. Put that onto a Lugia EX. My opponent says I should just give up now. I'm not really sure what that means. I'm going to go ahead and discard the Colress and Prism Energy. We'll grab a Thunderous EX just to kind of have something to fall back on. And then N for 6. I was hoping to get like a switch and then a Lightning Energy there, but hey, I'll take a DCE as well. And then we'll also scrapper away that Silver Bangle, since that does allow Curum to do nasty things that we don't want to do. That we don't want to see him do. Alright, now we do see a Pokemon catcher. That's going to bring out... Oh wow, he's targeting down Lugia right away. That's an interesting move. Unless he can actually knock out Lugia, this seems like a very risky play. And there we do see the Keldeo EX, so this is very focused and centered around Curum's Blizzard Burn. This is a very old-fashioned way of playing Plasma, something that really dominated in the 2013 season. Team Plasma decks were all over the place, and we just see a Lightning Energy go on to Thunderous EX, so it looks like he is planning on, using Russian and then retreating to Thunderous EX to kind of soften up Lugia. Now, fortunately for me, times have changed, and Lugia EX can knock out Thunderous EX in one hit with that Plasma Gale attack, thanks to Muscle Band. So, I'm not really too worried about this. Sure, you can soften up Lugia, but I'll get 3 prizes, and that's quite alright with me. So there's the rush in, the retreat, and we'll see the raid and knuckle as well. I'm not sure if my opponent can actually get back any energy from that, but oh yeah, it looks like he discards a water energy with that Ultra Ball. We see the Kyurem come back into his hand, and then we'll see the raid and knuckle for 100, getting back a water energy onto probably that Kyurem, and there we go. So this is a little intimidating, since we could see Kyurem start attacking next turn and possibly knocking out Lugia. But this 3-prize knockout is too good to pass up, I think. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it. I will Skyla here. I'm not really sure what to even take. I think I'm going to just use this turn to grab another Team Plasma Ball. I can just get another Pokemon in play to prepare for Lugia being knocked out. And I think I'm going to go with Absol. Absol is actually a very good card against these Kyurem decks, since Mind Jack normally ends up knocking out a Kyurem, because their bench is so big. Kyurem only has 130 HP. Mind Jack adds up very quickly. So we're going to get the Absol onto the bench, and then Plasma Gale for 170 damage. Taking my 3 prizes here. Also got the Professor's Letter just to put a Lightning onto Lugia, so I can save the Prism for Absol for next turn. And things are looking pretty good right now, I must say. Overall, we got pretty much everything going. Up 3 prizes. Haven't burned too many resources yet. Have an Absol ready to knock out this Kyurem. And if I can knock out Kyurem next turn, I think that's pretty much game over. If I can just use Mind Jack and get the knockout. It seems like this game is all but over. We'll want to wipe out all the energy my opponent has in play. There's nothing that can really come out of nowhere to knock out an Absol in that deck. So this is going to be huge. We do see the Blizzard Burn. That will take down Lugia EX. So that's a little annoying, but hey, you can't live forever. So I think here I could have just used Raid Knuckle, but I'm going to have a Colress for 10 cards. So I'm just going to go for the Mind Jack. I just need to draw a Colress Machine or my Computer Surge. But never mind. I don't seem to have any of those. Colress for 10 is a real big letdown sometimes. I can't tell you how many times I play Colress for large numbers of cards and it just backfires. Or not backfires, but just misses completely. That's pretty annoying. Oh well. So here I'm just going to sacrifice a Pokemon. I think I probably should have sacrificed Thundurus instead of Deoxys. That was a mistake on my part. I don't know why I sent out Deoxys. It was just kind of an instinctual, go Deoxys, buy some time. But I think Thundurus would have been the better Pokemon to put out here. Number 1, it has a 1 retreat cost. Number 2, I really don't need it that much anymore. This late in the game, usually don't use Thundurus EX very much. And if I did, I would just bench a new one. But, ooh, we actually see a Colress from my opponent and then a Silver Bangle. So we're going to see a Blizzard Burn for a knockout, which is actually very annoying. Now my opponent goes down to 2 prizes. And you can see why the Kyurem version is still pretty good. It's just a 1-prize attacker that can take 2 prizes at a time against Pokemon EX. Very, very strong. We can do the Russian retreat combo to activate Blizzard Burn again, since you can't use Blizzard Burn 2 turns in a row, but if Kyurem goes to the bench, then you can do it again. So, probably see a Russian and a retreat, and then a Blizzard Burn for 170 damage, thanks to that Silver Bangle. So now we might be on the ropes a little bit, but we are going to knock out this Kyurem with Absol's Mind Jack, so I'm not too worried about it. There we do see the Blizzard Burn, though. And, alright, I'm going to promote that Deoxys EX, just because I'm going to give it a Float Stone. And put that DCE onto the Absol, just so I have it ready to Mind Jack. And I would like to bench a Pokemon here, but I'm not really sure what I want to bench. A 3rd Deoxys seems good, since if my opponent fills his bench, I can Mind Jack with a Muscle Band. It'll do 170, so we're going to go with that. And then I'm going to end my opponent down to 2 cards. Seems like a really devastating play. And we also got a Tool Scrapper to discard the Float Stone on the Keldeo. And we can retreat into Absol and then Mind Jack for a mighty 150 damage. Kyurem goes down. We're down to 2 prizes. And let's see what happens from here. Now, I don't really have anything else to work with in my hand. I saved the Colorist Machine because I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put it. I actually wanted to save it because Deoxys EX can knock out Absol, since I did have to use that DCE. So a Helix Force would knock out Absol, and I would like to have my own Deoxys as a response. Right, we could Colorist Machine, Prism Energy, and respond with our own Helix Force. But it looks like my opponent just has a Float Stone. So he leaves Keldeo active. I'm going to go ahead and Colorist Machine and attach to Lugia. Juniper for a fresh 7. That was a very good top deck. And then we will Mind Jack for 130 damage. My opponent doesn't even have any cards, so we should be pretty safe. Oh, no, Juniper. Uh-oh. Now, this could be very bad. I mean, it's a long shot, but if my opponent had an Energy and a Colorist Machine, along with a Pokemon Catcher, or maybe even an Escape Rope, and then a Silver Bangle, he could take his final 2 prizes and win the game right here. He would just need to knock out a Pokemon EX, and I have lost. So this is very nerve-wracking. My opponent definitely has a chance to win if he can pull off all of this stuff. Even knocking out Absol does force me to have a response. I don't have a double Colorless Energy in my hand, so there's no guarantee I can power up Lugia. I don't have a Colorist Machine either. Even if I did, all my Plasma Energy are either in play or in my hand, so I couldn't even use that Colorist Machine. So a knockout this turn would be huge no matter what happens. It would just require a Colorist Machine and an Energy. We do see a Catcher. Wow. Alright, so that's Tails. We're safe still. But I really haven't actually seen a Colorist Machine out of my opponent. I'm starting to wonder if he even plays any. It'd be weird not to, but I haven't seen a single one. That's so weird. Or even a Plasma Energy. This might be an all basic energy version of Plasma. And, oh, we do see a Raid Knuckle, but that means he walks right in to the Mind Jack. We're going to Skyla for that Muscle Band. Go ahead and put it on Absol. And then Mind Jack will do 170 damage. And that is the game, folks. And that is the tournament. So we managed to take down another tournament, this time with a Team Plasma deck. And we had a couple close games there, but for the most part, I always felt like I was pretty much in control of these games. And the Team Plasma deck is extremely strong. It's a very fun deck to play as well. But there we go. You see another shiny gold star. We see the tournament bracket. And we see our 4 tournament tickets, 8 tokens, 4 packs. And there we go. That is the tournament. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.